This is Jody from Poppywinkle, and this week I'm going to show you how I made this journal. It's a Victorian tea party journal, and I made it with a printable. And I'm going to show you how I use the printable, and I'm going to give you lots of tips for getting variety yet continuity in your journals. So, first thing I'm going to do is show you some of the printable pages I used. It came with 12 pages, 7 of which were kind of background pages. So I'm just going to show you what they are so you can look for them throughout the journal, and then I'll show you the other things that it came with as we go on. So these are the pages I used. Plus I also used a paper bag throughout. So I tried to use paper bag through this cover, and so then I tried to recreate, reuse paper bag, craft paper kind of stuff throughout the journal. So along with the printable pages, I used craft paper, and so that also added to the continuity. And I also used this one piece of scrapbook paper that I just used throughout. So this pink, I used it here. I used it here. I used it here. And I think, well, I used it this way quite a few times. So that's continuity with the scrapbook paper, one kind, and the printable pages over and over again, and the craft. So another kind of page I used is, sometimes I used cardstock for strength. So I just used a plain cardstock. It was 2 different colors. But when I had a page with a lot going on, like this belly band flip, I wanted some extra strength. And so I used cardstock as a base, still in similar colors, not exactly the same. And another thing I did was I printed on vellum. So I used the printable, one of the printable pages, but I printed it on vellum to give a different look. So that adds to the variety. It's the same printable, but when you put it on vellum, it has a totally different look. And so then I put some rice paper under it, and then a plain page. That's another piece of cardstock, because there's a lot going on here too. If you put a whole bunch of stuff onto a thin piece of paper, it can crumple and not hold up. So that's why I sometimes use cardstock. And then another reason I liked using a paper bag, I forgot to mention this, not only does it give continuity with the cover, but, and see, I hear paper bag, but it also, it gives you extra space because paper bags are extra long. And so on this page, I had enough space for a fold out, which I really like paper bags for that. So another way to get continuity yet variety is to print on different mediums. So here is a page printed on cardstock, and that looks like that. I also mentioned I printed on vellum. That makes a whole different look. But here is that same page that I just showed you, and here I printed it on paper. I gave it a water bath to kind of crinkle it up and smear it a little, and then I just cut a piece of it out as a pocket. So again, it's different, so variety, but it's also got some continuity with the rest of the journal. Another page that comes with the printable is this tabs and kind of doodads kind of stuff. And these borders I use throughout. I'll tell you how I use these other elements too, but the borders right now, here, I just printed it on paper and then topped this pocket with it. So there, I used it like that. And then here, I used it on this page. I printed it on vellum and ran it through my sticker machine that puts sticky stuff on it. And I'll link to that because that's a very cool thing. And that kind of keeps this page closed. But so there, it's different, used in a different way. Here I used it top and bottom with a different material, but there's continuity there. The printable also came with tabs that you can cut out, these whale tail tabs, and I love them because they're so versatile. You could use them as actual tabs, as I did here. I used them to put on dangles. You could leave that dangle off and actually put words there if you were using it for organization, if you wanted organization tabs. In this journal, I used them all for just dangle tabs, just prettiness. The other thing you can use tabs for is here. I attached it to the back of this tag all the way, all glue, glue, glue. And then I glued this part to the other side, but this part I left free. So it makes a secret journaling spot. I like to use them for that too. And another way I like to use them, it's not in this journal, it's in a different one, but I like to use them as a hinge. So if you want a fold out, but you only have single pages, you don't have a whole big page to do a fold out, you can use the tabs as a hinge to have a fold out. So this is my ephemera storage journal where I keep little, not only do I keep my stickers, but I keep little ideas to remind myself things to use. So I like this use of tabs too. The printable also comes with 2 pages of pockets. There's one and there's the other. These are double pockets. I'll show you how they work. And what I also like to do, these are printed on cardstock. I like to print them on vellum because that really gives a whole other look. First of all, it's transparent and there's just a richness to it, a different look, a different feel. The colors are more muted. So that's a way to get continuity yet variety, and here I used them. Here's how the double pockets work. You have the big ones and then you have the little ones. They're upside down just so they fit together. But if you put them like this, I sewed this one in, then they fit together nicely and you have a pocket down here and you have a pocket here. And so then I did that same thing back here, but I did it on vellum. And so it just has a different look. So again, continuity yet variety. Another part of the printable is these journaling cards. and I used them here. I backed it with a piece of coffee dyed paper, and then I stamped some postcard kind of stamps on it. I put a little handmade stamp there and then stamped on top of it with some postage marks, and then put a little rub-on decoration here. So it's pretty on this side and a little bit of journaling space on that side. Another way I used a journaling card is here. Again, journaling space, and if you don't have all those fancy stamps and things, you can just put whatever you have over here. This one I printed on cardstock, and then the back I printed with kind of a texturizing thing to make it look old. But I printed it. I didn't do anything to it. I printed it on both sides. Here I used two journaling cards. I did not separate them, so there's a front and a back, and then I made a little booklet out of it. So you see how these are. If you don't cut here, you just cut here, then you have a front and a back of a booklet. And that's what this is. And then here I just framed it like a picture with those sticky corner things, those old-fashioned things, although I glued them down. I didn't trust that sticky lick-it stuff, so I glued them down. The last page of this printable, number 12, page number 12, is these lovely Victorian ladies who might be going to a tea. Old photographs, and I printed them on cardstock. And here I just inked the edges on the back, so it was white cardstock, and I just used some vintage photo ink to kind of take that horrible whiteness away. Same here, just a little rub-a-dub of that. And what else? Let's see. Here, this little charmer, I put on the photo corners, the old-fashioned photo corners, and I glued them down. And you can take her out and journal on the back, which is kind of fun. I think there's another one back here. Yes. And so this one, I attached the corners. I attached the corners with glue to the photo this time, not to the page. And up here, I put a little brad so it's movable. So that's another hidden journaling spot. And I will link, I showed a video of how exactly I did that because that's a little tricky. And I'll link to that if you want to know how. So those are the ways I use this printable. I'll link to the printable. And if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.